media houses, traditional media houses, are discussing this matter and all. You have directed that he be invited here so that tomorrow we suspend the sitting for tomorrow and at least proceed to do today's sitting. But may I remind you, Mr. Chair, that yesterday this matter was brought to your attention as the head of this committee, and to the best of my knowledge, the understanding was that this matter will be dealt with. It appears that we are not adding on this aspect of, in view of the matter still remaining unresolved, whether or not to proceed or not to proceed. Chair, in all humility, let me pray that you suspend sitting for us to go into conclave, to further deliberate and abide by whatever we'll be able to conclude, so that we proceed. And without overstretching the argument, we have, by consensus, passed all your nominees except one, Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Omane Boamah, which we are yet to take a decision on. But all others, yesterday's vetting, all others, we don't have a problem. Sometimes our own side feel, you see the social media, they think that, oh, why is the minority side being all, cooperative? But we know that in governance, you don't oppose for opposing sake. You must find reason. So we are ready to take responsibility just for the sake of our democracy. So that side we don't have a problem. Where we have to say no, we'll say no. Where we believe that this one, we've been in government before, so we know that the wheels of government must be in motion, and we must have cause to say no or yes. Chair, and that we should proceed would not be most appropriate, in my humble view. I don't want to borrow the words of Honorable. Minister for Roads and Highways, who, when I was in majority and I was the leader of the House, he once said that, leader, if you want to proceed to lay your paper, there will be chaos in the House. I don't want to borrow his words. Honorable Governors Kwame Agboja openly said on the floor that merely laying a paper, which would not even amount to a vote, would lead to chaos. I'm not of that school of thought. So please, you oblige us. Let's have a break and then discuss, and then we can come back.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. In fact, I have heard a lot saying and creating the impression as if we, the majority members, do not care about reputation, our reputation. I am placing it on record that we very much cared about our reputation. Let me also place it on record that we are just from conclave. Issues are settled on conclave. It is clear from the narration that the minority have made their mind that they don't want to take part in the vetting. It is about 1 o'clock, and we program to start vetting at 10 o'clock. So let their language be clear that they do not want to take part in the vetting. I don't believe in a situation where, at conclave, we take certain decisions, come before the public, and then decide to do otherwise. Now, he mentioned yesterday, he was not in the country yesterday. And it is true, the minority whip wants to raise this particular issue yesterday. And I said, as a committee, let us deliberate on the issue first. I do not think I am wrong requesting that. Let's deliberate on the issue first, because I believed in consensus. You walk to a meeting and say, this is what I want to raise. So if I said, let's deliberate on the issue first, it doesn't mean I am preventing you from deliberating on the issue. There was nothing that yesterday vetting should not occur because somebody in the public tries to damage the reputation of the chairman of the vetting committee and, in effect, members of the committee. Honourable members, let me also place on record that my little knowledge about criminal law tells me that there is no vicarious liability when it comes to a crime. This is a time-tested principle. Honourable members, the fact that police are always accused every day of corruption does not mean policing should not happen in this country. That is why I am pleading that we all care about our reputation. But there is a procedure available to deal with the person who makes the statement. So tomorrow, we'll deal with the maker of the statement. So the maker of the statement, for God's sake, is not before us. So how can we be doing this? So once again, I plead with my colleagues that let's proceed and do the vetting. And
on a number of issues. We want to respectfully suggest to you, and for the conclave, you can have as many conclave as you should, if need arises. So we have to take a look at that again.
Well, we'll rise for just 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Did you suspend for 2 minutes or rise for 2 minutes?
2 minutes will not be enough.
vetted, and then I think Land and Forestry Minister, yeah, Kofi Omane. So the committee, so far so good, apart from this scandal, and I'm scandalous that such an hostile lawyer, such an activist could make such allegation. But I don't know if he has any evidence. I'm happy that the committee did not sweep it under the carpet, but the committee is summoning him to come before. So members of the committee, vetting committee, should just please and both divide. And I know that the majority are ready to vet. It is the minority that is resisting. And I'm happy that they are retiring to chamber to build consensus. Let us hope and see that and pray that they will build consensus and come back, and then we'll see the way forward. But I think that Honorable Omane Boamah deserves the seat that the president has nominated.
Samson Aringobet is expecting that some consensus will be built after committee comes from conclave, and he is with the Export and Import Association. And if you just tune in, you're watching TV3. This is the coverage of the Ministry of Vetting, and committee has gone for conclave. And it's just a matter of fact that Oliver Baker-Vormel has made some comment, and that was what has brought every business to a stalemate. And we still want to get some reactions from some persons that came here to support. Deputy Director of IT and Elections of the NDC is here, Dr. Computer, and I know you are very furious about what is going on. How furious are you?
No, well, it's expected. We had prepared for it. I knew, and my boss is well prepared for all this eventuality. You shouldn't expect him to have a free flow. This is a director of election who led the charge for us to chalk 57.7% and then demolish the NPP to a very disastrous defeat of 38.2. So what do you expect? They must flex their muscles on this thing. Otherwise, some of the issues they are, and you saw it on the platform, what they were doing is virtually because he led the charge. And then he's the one who caused them.
But the MPP was also saying it's not about the nominee.
What do you?
It's not about his persona. It's not about his personality.
You want them to tell you this? They are doing that because of his personality.
But the way I know you, if your reputation has been bruised, I know what you can do.
I am saying that this is not the first time this house reputation has been bruised. Their own internal decision, like before Macron said. You remember the issue of when the leaders, that then majority leaders, were saying that somebody came with a bag full of money. You remember that episode? Whatever that is. There's just distance. So they are aware of this. And that's why I like the analogy when he said police have been accused of being corrupt. But that doesn't stop policing. Okay? They have given a pathway to deal with the matter. He has issued this thing that tomorrow they should invite a gentleman. What stops you from continuing with the vetting?
Okay, there's also nothing wrong with maybe the Parliament's also saying that, okay, all the time it continues. We continue with vetting and proceedings. So this time around, let's take critical action, and this is the time now that they are doing that.
The action will not be taken today. He has already issued that tomorrow the gentleman will come. So what are they going to be doing today? Why are you punishing the nominee? He has no business in this matter. He has no business in this matter. He has not been vetted. There is no iota of evidence whatsoever that the nominee here has given anybody anything. They themselves are aware. They are saying it. So why are you going to punish him for that? And that is why we are saying that clearly we just know that they are flexing their muscles because of the 57.7, and then they don't.
You think they're still coming out of the loss?
Well, and those leading the charge are the people we are tracking in court. They are the people we are tracking because their seats are in question. We are questioning their seats, and because some of them have run away from service, that is why they are doing this. The court is looking for them to serve them because we have issues with their seats. And interestingly, they are the people who are speaking louder. When you know that your seat is shaky, the thing you have done, because of some crooked electoral officers, you have found your way into the house. Look at what they are doing. We will look for them. The bill will find a way of getting them.
Dr. Computer is the Deputy Director of IT and Elections of the NDC, and he feels the MPP is actually trying to flex their muscles. Everything they're trying to just, take the nominee through this very whole process. But Dr. Austin Game, he is a labor consultant. I saw him here in the morning, and I think he's on the phone, so let me just pause right here. Dr. Austin Game, I saw you in the morning, and I know you've been waiting for a while, and so this very development will not be of interest to you at all. What do you make of it?
Well, this is a small difference. It's a difference, it's not a conflict. It's not a major issue. It's a difference of appreciating the concerns being raised by the public, and they want to find ways and means of addressing it. Now, when there is a perception, the way to handle perception is not to take a position. If you take a position on perception, you will not be addressing the perception and therefore finding a lasting solution that you don't repeat the same thing tomorrow. The people who triggered this, or the personality who triggered this, has to be dealt with, as said by the chairman, and the concerns being expressed by the minority are all valid. But suspending the sitting, not vetting at all, based on perception that has not been addressed, does not help matters. So I will urge them, and I've gone to talk to them anyway, that they should find ways and means of resolving the differences between them. It's not a major conflict. It's not a matter that is something that can kill, should bring this nation to a halt. So I would urge them to speak to one another gently and find a way of resolving the matter without further aggravating and creating further polarization in the country. I think that's what I suggest them to do.
Because, issue of reputation is very, very key. So everybody wants to, protect their integrity and their reputation. Oftentimes, when it happens, very continues. So what if this is more like the MPP trying to, let's say, make sure that we resolve this once and for all and ensure that we don't come back to the same, problem?
I think both sides have agreed that this is a matter that should be of concern to them and the whole nation at large. So they want to find ways and means of resolving this kind of canker. And they have agreed in principle that, and the chairman has directed the clerk to the committee to invite Mr. Boamah to appear before them tomorrow, which means that they will not be sitting as usual tomorrow morning, but they'll be dealing with this matter as long as they can to resolve it once and for all. Now, so with that at the background, it is inappropriate for both parties to have an entrenched position. When you take a position, these are the costs. The cost, you'll be operating in the red zone, and you'll be repetitive of your error at the expense of everybody. The cost of sitting today, the cost of coming and not sitting today is very huge. And it's to the detriment of the 33, 34 million people of Ghana, not to the members of the committee. And therefore, I appreciate the concerns they have, but this is a small difference that can be resolved. And if they need help, we are all available.
Any layperson trying to explain this will understand. But don't you think sometimes it's just their personal differences that really stands in the way of certain things that can easily go? We can just let it go?
And that's precisely what I'm saying. That's why it is just a difference. It's not a major conflict. It's not a major problem, though it's of some gravity of concern to them. And we are all at pains. But if they accuse you of corruption, it's very, very painful. And I think I share in the pain of the minority, I share in the pain of the chairman, the entire committee. But it should not stop the work of government and the whole nation coming to a halt. So I think they can be able to resolve it. I see them trying to reach some consensus when I visited them in the room.
So Mr. Austin Game is a labor consultant, and he actually went to the conclave to actually put in a word to ensure that our business continues as usual, and he is sure at the end of the day some truths may be acquired, and that's what it is. And you're still watching the coverage of the ministerial vetting, and what actually is taking place is that the committee has gone on recess just for 2 minutes, but I think it's gone beyond 2 minutes now, and as considering the gravity of the issue, obviously it will take a long time, but we're hoping that they come with some sort of consensus for business to continue. But Bonamona is here with me. I saw you earlier, and I know you're highly concerned about what has really transpired so far, and for you, I hope you're expecting some sort of consensus to be built after they come from conclave.
They have wasted time. It's more than
2 minutes. Yeah.
They said 2 minutes is more than 10 minutes. They are wasting our time. See, I'm sure that you have gone around to see the galaxy of generals, former CDSs, and that are here. You have seen the presence of the military hierarchy that is here, all to come and give backing.
if the military is supposed to be at base in order that they can give protection of our nation, and you come and waste their time here, it means that you are the people compromising the security of our nation, and not Oliver's pronouncement or statement is not to the effect that Dr. Omane Boamah is the one who has given money. And you have this, and you went into a conclave for more than 2 hours before coming. You could not resolve the issue. You come and then you invite the nominee. The nominee takes an oath. After he has taken an oath, then you raise the concern that you have to raise. You should have raised the concern, addressed the concern before inviting the nominee to come and sit down. It is not our business to come and sit here for you to be telling us how disappointed you are in somebody's statement. So tomorrow, if we tell you that you, this appointment committee, you have been taking people's wife and sleeping with them, will you suspend sitting? It's like they want to take stones and go after every barking dog. So when you throw one stone at one barking dog and it makes noise, several other dogs will come. So you stop what you are doing and then be stoning the dogs. No, I am very disgusted by this position of the minority. Look, we have done almost 4 hours sitting and nothing has been done. We have other things to do. There is a reason why we have all come here. Don't come and take...
Moving forward, how well can we control these derogatory comments?
Are they gagging speech? Is the Parliament of Ghana going to gag free speech? We must be responsible in our pronouncement. I agree. But Parliament not be the organ that will be seen preventing people from speaking their mind. In any case, if the man has made these accusations, you think that you, the people that they are accusing, by inviting him, you want to intimidate him. You should subject him to an independent institution to check whether what the man is saying is true or it's not true. Yes, the man is accusing you of corruption and you say that you are going to do investigations for him to prove. That is very wrong.
Bernard Mona is with the PNC and he is also of the same view that vetting should continue. But the committee has returned from conclave and we didn't get to know what really transpired in conclave, whether or not we are going to continue or not. But the clerk has been directed to call Vamao tomorrow 9 a.m. to substantiate these allegations that the chairman and members of the committee stored monies from nominees before approving them. And so this is what has really brought this very stalemate. We got reactions from some sympathizers, friends who came here to support the minister designate. And he's still seated in his chair. And hopefully the vetting will continue. But the committee have returned from conclave and will know whether or not the vetting will continue. But I think we can still talk to people because the chairman has, taken. Let's still talk. Honorable, can you pick a word from you? You're back from conclave, and what do you think should be the way forward as it stands? Because everybody wants the vetting to control, but in your view, what do you expect to be done?
I was not part of the conclave. This is subject to the committee members are those who went in conclave. I'm here today doing the minority because Omane Boamah is my cousin and he said I should come. So I came because of him. Otherwise I have no business here. But if we actually going to take a decision, I will not say because of him. I'll have to follow the position of my party, and that's very conflicting and difficult thing, I
don't want to be in a position at all.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's a bad one. So I'm waiting for them to come, and then let's see what decision it will be. Yeah, let's see. But the gentleman was reckless, and I think they would probably have to get a day on him, and people who allege should come and prove it. And I think because he's a lawyer, it gives some sort of gravitas to the whole thing. Otherwise,
he knows his way around the law and everything.
If it was any other person, they would just gloss over it. So people who allege, you should be sure of what evidence you have. And that is what is making the whole thing Tony. But let's see what they bring after the meeting, after the conclave.
Let's see what the committee brings from the conclave. And these are some concerns that have been shared so far. Dr. Bayo also here on the side of the NDC. I want to pick some few words from you, Dr. Bayo. Doctor, good afternoon. Congratulations. And I know the NDC, of course, your view is that it should continue. But the MPP also says this is not about the nominee. And so moving forward, it's just about the reputation of the minority, of the parliament that needs to be protected.
But there is a legal remedy, established protocols, parliamentary orders, standing orders, has an established way by which something damaging the reputation of parliament or if its committee or any aspect of parliament can be dealt with. Why should government business come to a halt because somebody has done a comment or made a comment that is contemptuous of parliament? Really, let's reason it out and see.
So 4 years ago, the former mentioned that vetting continued even when someone within accused parliament.
Yeah.
So it has been continuing. So this is that the MPP thinks, let's come up with this approach and ensure that we don't have a repetition of this. I don't think they may be wrong because 4 years ago it happened and we are still here.
What happened to the fellow 4 years ago? That's what we should be asking. Was the person hauled before the Privileges Committee? What did the Privileges Committee say? So, holding the nation to ransom. Look at the portfolios being vetted. The Minister of Defense. Do you know what that means? That we cannot have a Minister of Defense because somebody has made a comment? Look at the other portfolios yet to be vetted. We do not have a Minister of Health. Right? Minister of Health is scheduled for this week, so we should put everything on hold. And making reference to what happened 4 years ago is neither here nor there. If this person has made a statement, you can hold the person before the Privileges Committee of Parliament. Let the Privileges Committee take an action.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bayo. Dr. Bayo is on the side of the NDC, sharing the same sentiment and views of the party that the vetting should continue, that business should continue as usual. And the MPP also saying it should not continue because reputation is at stake. And I see the Minister Designate for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Kujetu, also here with us, here to support the Minister Designate. And so we will be coming to you when the committee is back from conclave.
Yes.
Relax. But sometimes you just want to, it's not the best.
Honourable members, meeting called to order. Sorry for the back and front. In Parliament, sometimes we go through this in order to build consensus. We are proceeding with the vetting. Fortunately, I have seen a social media publication again, ostensibly coming from Oliver Baka Vomawo, JFM, that he is prepared to appear before us tomorrow. We are also in readiness to receive him. We'll proceed with the vetting of the Minister Designate for Defense. Clerk of the committee kindly administer the oath. Oh, you've done that already. Or what? If you have if you've done that already, then before proceeding with the vetting question, I have some questions for you. Ever since you are nominated as a minister, before the introduction, you tell us about yourself. Have you spoken to me on phone?
No, Mr. Chairman. The last time we spoke must be somewhere September or August 2024.
After your nomination as a minister designate, have you been to my office?
No, Mr. Chairman.
After meeting you today on the corridors of the vetting room, have you set your eyes on me after your nomination, announcement of your nomination as a minister responsible?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Did I ever call to demand money from you?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Now, before I give you the floor to tell us about yourself, it's been alleged that we demand monies from the nominees before vetting. Tell the general public whether I, Bernard Ahiafo, or any member of the committee ever demanded money from you before today's sitting.
Mr. Chairman, I've not received any such call, and so that is what I can say. I'm here to be vetted, to answer the questions to the best of my ability, and with your blessings, to serve our dear nation as much as I can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May you proceed to tell us about yourself.
I'm Kofi Omane Boamah, trained medical doctor by profession, married with 3 children, also a health policy analyst, former Minister for Communications, former Deputy Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, former Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports, also presently Director for Elections and IT of the NDC. For the 8 years that President Mahama was in opposition, I also served as a policy advisor and political strategist to him. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are welcome to the vetting committee.
Okay.
Honourable members will proceed by taking questions from the members of the committee. It is my pleasure to start with the subject matter committee members. So I give the floor to Honorable Amankwa Menu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me take the opportunity to congratulate Dr. Kofi Omane Boamah for his nomination. And also let me take this opportunity to welcome to this vetting room some past officers of the Ghana Armed Forces. I can see some past CDS and some 7 officers. They are so welcome. Doc, congratulations once again. We all know that Article 210 creates the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, the Ghana Armed Forces is a creature of the 1992 Constitution, charged with the responsibility of defending Ghana. We have men and women who go through sacrifices, and the sacrifices they go through emanate from the kind of training they go through. We have had instances in this country where people have always asked questions about the way recruitment and enlistment into the Ghana Armed Forces is done. If you are to look at what members go through, I mean members in uniform, soldiers, our men and women in uniform go through. Obviously, if you do not meet a certain criteria, it will be very difficult for you to really do the kind of job they do. As a minister, looking at the fact that the Ghana Armed Forces have a time-tested, laid-down processes, procedure, and the training that they go through, as a minister designate for the Ministry of Defense, and looking at what the soldiers go through, looking at, you know, the time-tested training or the time-tested procedure, processes, and all that they go through. As a minister, would you at any time circumvent this time-tested processes and procedure for enlistment and recruitment into the Ghana Armed Forces for political expediency?
Thank you, Honorable Minister Designate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, in the early days of the vetting process, a need arose for you to be seen as the chair of this committee and none other. Rightly so, you are the chair. I want, for the last time, plead with those who come here as friends of committee, especially from the majority, to allow decorum, what we call decorum, to manifest at this committee. I will end it here.
Proceed to give your answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Knowing the Ghana Armed Forces that I know, and from where I sat about 17 years ago, if you circumvent the procedures, the rules of engagement, and you get enlisted or recruited, you are likely to suffer. And there have been some dire consequences. Some recruits have died on day one. I remember at 37 Military Hospital, there was even someone who was in training. Not that the person was flat-footed, but it was almost there. Severally, the person had to come on admission. If you have a heart condition and the systems are circumvented and you are enlisted or recruited, you are just jeopardizing your life. And so, looking at it purely from the medical point of view, I'll be the first person to advise you, if you genuinely don't qualify, not to attempt it. Let's face it, I recall 1997, when I visited, the person is still a serving officer, so I don't need to mention the name. When I visited the person at the academy, one of the first things I saw was, abandon all hopes of normal life, all ye enters here. What that means, that at the beginning of the training, you are being asked to abandon all hopes of normal life when you enter the military academy. And it is not easy. If I may add, some people go all the way to the point of being tempted, and they consider and drink water that has been used to soak clothes, because you are thirsty. You are tested to the limits. That is the reality. And so I will not, and have the assurance that I will not circumvent the procedures. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any follow-up questions.
Thank you very much. I'll proceed to give the floor to Honorable Happy. No, you don't have any further?
No follow-up.
No follow-up, but you have a further question. Please go ahead.
Mr. Nominee, we know that the West African sub-region has issues with terrorist activities. And the experts tell us that the movement of these groupings is southwards. If you look at all the countries within the sub-region, most with terrorist activities. And the experts tell us that the movement of these groupings is southwards. If you look at all the countries within the sub-region, most of them, if not most of them, except probably our beautiful country, have tasted the bitter pill of terrorist attack. The Akufo-Addo government, in trying to provide security for this country, adopted two, as it were, two strategies. First of all, to have Operation Conquered Fist, where men were sent to man our borders. And then secondly, for the long-term effect, to build the forward operating bases, FOBs. Most of these FOBs are at various completion stage. And then to also deal with the issues of our waters, because we also had pirates coming in. There was the need to also get one of the vessels is waiting for parliamentary approval. Mr. Nominee, if you are given the approval, what would you do? Would you immediately work very fast to ensure that the FOBs are completed so that soldiers can move in, and then see to the acquisition of this long endurance vessels to enable our men provide the security that we so need in this country?
Mr. Chairman, the FOBs are very critical and they are needed in protecting Ghana. It is true that terrorists, and if I may add, violent extremism, has caught up with us. Successive governments have done very well in ensuring that we have not recorded any incident at this stage within the territory of Ghana. But there is also the strong belief that there are some sleeper cells of some of these groups, which so far our military has been able to contain and sometimes even push them out of the country. Where we are, we cannot do without the FOBs. And if you ask me, we may even have to consider accelerating the completion of what are already under construction, and then also identify some of the border areas. We have as long as over 2,000 kilometers stretch regarding the fringes of Ghana. And if these fighters, silent fighters who use the David and Goliath kind of a system, the asymmetry system in which they use to fight countries, are minded to attack us, they have over 2,000 kilometers to help them to strategize. What it means is that we need more of these FOBs, but not just that. You raised the issue of the naval vessel. It is not just the Navy that has challenges. Without exposing our armed forces too much, because our neighbors are accelerating their re-equipping. The truth is that the Air Force also needs re-equipping. I don't want to go into too much details regarding that. So it's a holistic thing. And in looking at this, we also need to sensitize the populace, because it is not just a matter of acquiring the vessels, acquiring the equipment. The citizens must also be conscientized so that they will be able to help the Ghana Armed Forces to detect early when these incursions are being done. And this is where I commend the appointment of Lieutenant Colonel Larry Bevlolate as the envoy to the Sahel regions. Is going to assist to be able to understand, help in early eye detection, assist with defense diplomacy, whilst our Ghana Armed Forces also continue to engage them. And so, yes, we will need to complete the FOBs. We will need to consider extending even the FOBs to other parts. It is not just the borders, even the riverine areas. There are some entry points that can also be considered. And so you can have my assurance that together with the service commanders, the CDS, and with the commander-in-chief himself, we will do everything that we must do if I receive your approval to protect and defend our dear nation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'll do with my last question. Honorable